Hey there, Shrine Runners! Hello, and welcome to the Fox Shrine. I'm Araxis, your host, and today we are going to be playing Please Be Happy. Hey there, Callista. Hey, Ada. Hey, Shoma. Hey, Kuro. Hey, Kaya, welcome. Hope you're all doing alright. I'm doing pretty well. Only woke up recently, admittedly, but you know what? I like sleeping in, so there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Let's also have a drink as well. Thankfully, I have my drink with me. Now, I don't know a lot about this game, I do admit. This one was actually, like, it's by the same people who did another game that's sort of like been on my list, called Highway Blossoms. I've heard a lot of people say good things about that one as well. So when this one got recommended to me, I was like, yeah, this one sounds fun. Sure, I'll give it a go. And seems like people wanted to watch that as well. So yeah, that's what we shall be doing. Ala ala, ma. Hopefully you're doing especially well, Ada. But let's get into the game itself, shall we? Alrighty then. Now, as per usual, do let me know if there are any issues with the audio or anything like that. I believe this one has full voice acting, so I won't have to do sort of like silly voices for all the characters or anything like that, which may be a positive or a negative to people. Let's get into it. All right.
Nothing like a hard day's work.
Yeah, and the menus are voiced as well. Fog settled over the forest, far from the villages and towns, and with it came silence. Birch trees shivered, pondering the weather, and dropped their leaves in fright. Streams bubbled, unseen by man, and babbled like the birds in the trees. Okay, so that's how the space button works, huh? What about was like that? In the middle of the forest was a grove, and in the middle of that grove was a log. It had been years since it had fallen. Once one of the proudest trees around, and now in death was home to an abundance of life. A line of frantic ants ran to and fro. Mushrooms, cloud-like and pillowy, sprouted across one side, like a footpath for fairies. Nearby, an old toad flopped contentedly in the mud. And inside the deep, damp hollow of the tree, something slept. A traveller strolled into the grove. Their steps were slow and tired, and they spotted the log with relief, like greeting an old friend. Weary from the day's journey, the traveller sat down to take a rest. Whoosh. With scrabbling of nails on rotten wood, a shadow bolted from inside the log to the tall grass nearby. The traveller watched the brush rustle as a faint patch of fur appeared within. "Hello there, friend. I didn't mean to disturb you." They held their hand towards the grass, offering a piece of dried fish. At first, there was no reaction, and then, first a snout appeared, quivering as it tested the air. Then followed the rest of the fox, sleek and tawny, as she took several slow steps forward. Her amber eyes were alight with mistrust, but also with wild curiosity. The stranger sat unfazed, their offering still outstretched. They dared to meet the fox's eyes, and in that glance felt something kindred. As the fox closed her jaws round the gift, a bond was made. "Maybe we aren't so different, you and I." The traveller returned the next day, and the day after that. Each day, they brought some treat for their new friend. You're not supposed to feed the wildlife. It makes the wildlife become dependent on you. Each day, the fox's steps grew a little more trusting. One day, when the traveler arrived, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently.
Hello, my friend. Have you been waiting long?
Okay, so let's Obi-Wan. The fox peered up at the traveler. Her amber eyes were warm and trusting. She accepted her gift of meat, gnawing it at the traveler's feet then and there. The traveler sat, imprinting into their mind the feeling of the wood beneath them, the clean air around them, and the tender bond of companionship.
Where is your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? This will be the last time, I'm afraid. Because I'll be going home tomorrow. Home is such a small place compared to the rest of the world. Yet, it's some place I can't wait to return to. I wish I could bring you with me, little friend. I wish that you could see the world too.
I get the feeling we might be getting to see the world.
Your home is all around me, though, isn't it? It's wherever the trees are, wherever the leaves fall. Little fox, perhaps it's you who's the more fortunate of the two of us.
All too soon, it was time for the traveler to go. Hey there, Kuro. How you going? As they bade goodbye to the forest and to the fox, they knew that they would not return, but that they would carry the memories with them always. The next day, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently, because the fox could not understand the human tongue. Chapter 1 of Foxes and Fables.
We've now docked at Wellington Skyport.
Chapter 1 has commenced.
Thank you for flying with Kiwi Airlines, and we hope to see you again.
Silly airlines. Kiwis can't fly. You have a silly name. Game is a little quiet? Alright. Give me a moment. I will bump up the audio. There's no volume right now, so we'll have to see how that goes. The intercom's announcement is muffled in the closet where I'm hiding, just like the clatter of the seatbelts and the chattering of passengers getting ready to disembark. I wiggle around impatiently, sore from crouching in here for... I don't even know how long it's been. Hours for sure. The last few minutes always feel like they take the longest. A parade of footsteps begins to pass by outside my door. It's time. I listen carefully, waiting for a gap in the crowd. When it comes, I stand up and push the door open in a single movement. I give a wink to the shocked-looking lady that I stepped out in front of. She doesn't even have time to gasp before I'm out of her sight. Humans. They're always kind of slow. I nod at the smiling flight attendant as I pass her by, and then throw up my hood to cover my face. It's been a while since I last flew, but it doesn't seem like things have changed much. It's always been harder to sneak on than it is to sneak off. I follow the crowd to the end of the walkway and step out onto the ground. After a long stretch, I take a deep breath and savor the fresh air after being stowed away for so long. Wellington Skyport, New Zealand.
I made it!
Yeah! My breathless voice joins the pleasant hum of the skyport. A few clouds drift lazily overhead, almost within arm's reach. The sound of the waves rolling onto the shore is like a lullaby. It makes me want to burrow into the sand and take a nap. It me her! It her! But I can't. First, I need to get out of here, and there's one more challenge ahead. Hold on. What language is this? This does not look like the language of New Zealand. Up ahead, the sneaking line of passengers splits as people are funneled into a few security stations. While I'm too far back to hear what the guards are saying, looks like they're examining a little booklet from each traveller before letting them pass. Humans sure like processes and procedures. You wouldn't think so from the way that they complain about it, but they all do it anyway. Humans are weird. I definitely don't have a booklet like that. Glancing around, I hope to find another way out. An open window would work, or even an unguarded exit. I'm pretty sneaky when I need to be. Unfortunately, the only way to leave is to go through security. Without any other option, I join one of the lines and prepare myself. I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. The line moves briskly as passengers are cleared one after the other, and I'm almost at the front of the queue before I know it. As the passenger in front of me approaches the booth, I listen closely.
Good afternoon. Passport, please.
Right here. It's good to be home.
I'm sure. Welcome back.
He stamps something in the man's booklet and then hands it back to him, and he continues on out of the skyport.
Next.
That's me. I don't know what they'd do to people without any papers, but I want to find out. I'm sure it involves lots of questions, being escorted around, and other unpleasant stuff. Casually approaching the gate, I put on my brightest, friendliest smile while keeping a slight distance. With my breathing steady and tail calm, I'm sure I put on a convincing act.
Passport, please.
Of course.
I fumble around in my pockets, pretending to look for my passport. Instead, I grab the useless, clunky phone that I've been carrying around and let it clatter to the ground at the guard's feet. As expected, he bends down to retrieve it for me.
Oh, let me get that for you.
Now it is time for the JoJo secret technique. Run away! And I make a run for it, bolting ahead and rushing past the security booths as quickly as I can.
Hey, you wait.
Stop!
By the time they realize what's happened, they already have a few seconds head start. My inhuman speed, combined with the natural chaos of the skyport, should also buy me a bit of time. Still, I've got to get them off my tail. I guess we've got like a map system over here. It's just like the menu over here. Thought so. Alright. Buzz it! It's the cheese! Dashing through the skyport doors and out into the road outside. Don't even have time to take in the city. Without stopping for breath, I run into the narrow streets while weaving between cars and shocked bystanders. Being seen by so many people like this is annoying, but it won't matter by tomorrow. Putting the thought out of my mind, I vault over a low wall into a nearby alley and land in a crouch. Out of sight, but only for a moment, I close my eyes and relax my muscles. All feeling disappears, except a slight warmth against my neck. My secret weapon. The unremarkable looking necklace is one of my only possessions, and by far most important. A certain one of these beads strung around my neck begins to heat up in response to my will, a soothing warmth flowing through my body. I was wondering why she was wearing a pearl necklace. It seemed an interesting choice of fashion. My hands and feet begin to morph first, the fur chasing up my arms and legs as they distort and shorten. This sensation was so bizarre the first few times I tried. It's amazing how it's become second nature by now. Closing my eyes, I let my body and head shift in turn. The face is always a little uncomfortable, my once human face changing and lengthening into a snout with some difficulty. The process complete after only a few seconds, I open my eyes not as a human, but as a fox. I dart away without waiting, far quicker on four legs than I could ever be on two. Obstacles like the stack of garbage cans ahead would be a pain to get past as a human, but instead, I'm able to flip between the gaps without slowing down.
That's her! I know it!
Sounds like the security guard hasn't given up on me yet. I pick up the pace, running as fast as my paws will take me. His heavy breathing gets farther and farther away, and in just a minute or two, I know I'm safe. Looks like we're one of them mutant foxes. Too much radiation in the air. I don't know where I am, but it's not like I knew where I was when I started running. Almost feel bad for the guy who was chasing me. He never stood a chance. Even in the crowded city streets, there's no way anyone or anything that can outrun me. Sorry, I shouldn't be a that there. The wind just wishes it could keep up with me. Comfortable that the danger's past, I slip into another alley. Once I'm sure that I'm alone, I close my eyes and concentrate on the form I want to take once more. That familiar flowing warmth runs through me again, my body stretching and deforming at my command. A few seconds later, and I open my eyes to glance at my hands.
Better luck next time.
You snooze, you lose. You're too slow. Brushing off the dust off myself, I nonchalantly stroll out of the alleyway and back into the street. The odd person walks by on this errand or another, not paying attention to me, just the way I like it.
Left, right, past turn, left.
Mapping out my path in my head, I look for a way to the main roads. Be easy to get my bearings there. I pick turns at random, without any real destination in mind. Yeah, the art style of the game is very nice so far. I do like it. And yes, Miho is indeed cute. When I decided to make the journey to Wellington, it was pretty impulsive. I'd overheard another pair of travelers talking about it, and how beautiful a city it is. With a moment now to take in the scenery, I can see that they weren't wrong. The streets around here seem like a mix of homes and businesses. Everything is very colourful. Even the brick walls are covered in pictures and paint. In the distance, I can see green hills that are lined with houses, as well as green hills that are completely empty. There are a lot of hills, now that I look around some. I believe New Zealand is actually home to like one of the steepest roads in the world. Like, if you ever get the chance, look it up online. It is incredibly steep. I think my mum's been there before. She sort of like mentioned that previously. I'm not sure like where in New Zealand it is, but check it out. From just a few streets away, the sound of pedestrians and busy intersections floats my way. I head in its direction, taking shortcuts through yards and driveways when it's convenient. In one lawn, a big dog growls at me as I walk past. But when I transform and growl right back, tucks his tail and runs away. Dogs and I have always had an understanding. After squeezing through one last narrow side street, I finally emerge onto what looks like a main road. There's no cars here, but tons of people on foot. Gee, I wonder why these rainbow banners are here. I wonder if there's a political message afoot in some way or another. There are brightly coloured signs and decorations on most of the buildings. In the middle of the street, there are fountains and benches and trees and all kinds of stuff. Hey there, Possum! I can believe that. I know that there's a few places like that here as well, where it's just like up all the time, I guess. Oh, thank you very much for summoning a possum. I like possums. Speaking of my mum, there's a possum that lives around my mum's place. Occasionally I've sort of gone over and she's sort of asked me to mind her place while she's away on holidays. I'm always happy to sort of do that because she's got a cat that I'll sort of take care of and all that. And there's a possum that breaks into her house every so often to eat the cat food. I say breaks in, there's a cat door over there, so that the cat's able to sort of get in and out. But yeah, it's a cute possum. Where I'm sort of located in the house usually, I'll sort of be overlooking the area, and I'll just suddenly hear some crunching on the cat food, and I'll just sort of look over, and there's this possum just eating away at the food. Obviously, if I sort of get up or move too suddenly, it'll bolt. But never causes any problems in the house or anything like that. The possums here are cuter than the possums in America, by the way. They've got an O in front of their names and look a bit more sort of aggressive than Australian possums, which is an interesting contrast. Normally, people expect Australia to have the scary stuff. Honestly, America's got way scarier stuff. You got bears and mountain lions and shit. We don't have any large predators like that. We got dingoes, and they're out in the desert. Alright. The best part is the variety of stores. When I stroll past a few of the windows and peek in, I can already tell that I'll be able to do most of my shopping around here. I wonder what... That's probably what you mean by shopping. Gotcha. There are stores with food, with clothes, and with just about everything else. I don't have any money on me, but that isn't exactly a problem. Yeah, shopping. Yoink! What is a problem is that it's too crowded. Dodging a couple of security guards is one thing. Trying to escape down a busy street with lots of people could be too much even for me. I'll just have to remember where this place is and make another visit later. For all the shops are closed. It depends on what you're trying to steal, right? Most retail workers and all that aren't gonna give a shit. Then, a man in a bright coat hurries past me, talking loudly on his phone in a language I don't recognize. He's so distracted that he doesn't even notice when his wallet falls out of his pocket and onto the sidewalk. I notice, of course. Seeing an opportunity, I zip over and snatch it up. Prying open the black leather pockets, I find...
Score!
A couple of bills in what I figure is the local currency. I slide the money out and into a pocket of my jacket. By now, the man is so far ahead that he's almost out of sight. I have to hurry to catch up to him to give him back his wallet, and he barely even says thank you.
I should have just kept the whole thing.
When I went to Japan, I occasionally dropped a few things by accident, and instantly someone would pick it up, get my attention, and return it, which was really nice to sort of see that sort of civic friendliness, I guess. It's only fair that I get a little something for myself, since it's not like he would have ever gotten it back without me. I head back to my bench and inspect my prize. A blue bill and a brown one. These feel sturdy, nothing like the paper I expected. Yeah, fuck American currency. American dollars are stupid.
1, 0, 10, and 5. So 15.
Yeah, you got it. 15 isn't much. I definitely should have kept the whole wallet. Ah well, at least this should be enough to buy myself something to drink. Thirst is starting to get the better of me. I haven't had anything since I snuck onto the airship. Following my nose, I walk down the busy street until I find one of the many cafes lining the path. The sign hanging above its front door has a picture of a bell on it. Hey there, Tiberius, thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a nice sleep. Definitely get rest where you can get it. A charming bell rings out from above the door as I enter. Can't help but savor the wave of refreshing, cool air washing over me, which feels even better after so much running.
Hiya! Welcome to the Bell House.
Are you an animal girl as well? Is this just normal? I'm curious. The barista behind the counter is the only other person in the store right now. As I nod in greeting, she leans forward with a cup in one hand and a pen in her other.
What can I get you? We're having a special on affogatos if you want to try one.
That's redacted. No, we know who it is. It's barista. We know who this is.
Usually, they're like $7, but today, they're only 5. I'd like a...
I would like a hot chocolate, please. I'm not sure what an affogato is. Is that a vegetable? Not wanting to commit to the strange-sounding drink, I look at the menu instead. I don't know what an affogato is either. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on menus before, but I don't normally drink coffee. Affogato. Ah, coffee-based dessert, huh? Alright. Yeah, fair enough. I recognize it now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would describe it as more coffee in ice cream, but... sorry, ice cream in coffee. That's how I would have described it. But same thing, just like a pineapple on pizza or pizza on pineapple. There's no difference. Unfortunately, it's full of handwritten spindly letters. Can't read a single word. No helpful pictures. Safe option it is. Alright, so that confirms what I was suspecting after the old number thing. Miho's not able to read, which is probably why the writing at the airport was unreadable to us as a player. Since the protagonist can't read, neither can we.
I'll just have a vanilla latte. Ugh, boring. But okay. Name?
Rude?
Miho.
It's my first time testing out how that name sounds, and I decided that I like it. I decided on the airship that was the name I would use here in Wellington. Used so many names throughout my life that I can't remember most of them. For each new city that I visit, I come up with something new. Foxes don't have any use for names, though nobody ever gave me one. He scribbled something on the cup with a black marker. If that's how this name looks, I'm even more pleased with it.
$4.50, please.
Oh, even cheaper than the affogato. I hand her the brown bill, and she gives me back a big coin with a picture of a boat on it.
All right. I'll have this ready for you in no time.
It's like whenever I see a character like this, and getting introduced to the setting, I wonder, are we a rare supernatural thing that we're trying to sort of disguise? Are supernatural things fairly common in this universe? And then it also makes me think about hey, when Miho's calling it an airship, is it actually an airship? Is this a universe where people don't fly planes, they actually fly airships? Also, hi Kailash, welcome. I start to wonder about these things. World building is important. Just how widespread is magic? He sure seems enthusiastic. I nod as she spins around and starts working. Looking about for somewhere to sit, I decided to seat by the window with the sun pouring in. Near the entrance of the cafe, there's a wire rack with a stack of maps and tourist pamphlets, so I grab one of the maps before taking my seat. Oh, let's have ourselves a drink. And yeah, this is, I try to schedule one stream a week at an earlier time slot, dedicated to people who can't watch at my normal time, because time zones, right? Sadly, this slot is at the mercy of work, because usually I'm busy on the weekends, so I can't dedicate a weekend day to this slot, which would be more reliable. Usually I'm either working on the weekend or have a social event set up, which is fairly rigid, I would say. It's because it's a tabletop RPG. I always try to play a tabletop RPG with friends on the Sundays, because that's literally the only time that all of us can make it, again, due to time zones. This cafe is big and bright, with plants everywhere. They're on the walls, on the floor, and on the ceiling. Most of them are real and vibrant, obviously being well cared for. Even the lights that hang down from the ceiling have glass ornaments with little shrubs in them. I hope they're able to get air. Seems like I made a good choice coming here. Any place with a bit of nature in it is more comfortable. It's more comfortable to me than places without.
I guess I should find a place to stay.
There's probably a garbage bin outside we can make our home in. Looking down to the map I took, I traced the path I made from the port to this cafe. It's useful, but doesn't really tell me anything helpful about the houses in particular. I need to find a higher vantage point. I move my finger along the hills I noticed from outside, following the little brown path to a patch of green with a little mountain icon. That should work for now.
Miho!
My ears perk up right as the barista arrives and places my drink in front of me.
Thanks!
I reach over and take the warm cup in my hand, but the barista doesn't let go.
You ready for the rain tomorrow? Huh? It's gonna rain tomorrow.
Are you a rain spirit, perhaps? Are you actually an Indonesian Hololive VTuber, perhaps? Is your name Kobo? I glance behind me, out the window. It's as sunny and blue a day as I've ever seen.
How do you know that? There aren't any clouds out there.
I'm just good with the weather. Anyway, if you forget, then you'll be sorry.
She finally lets go of my drink and heads back behind the counter. People are weird. Does this barista pull that on everyone? Standing on the doorstep, I have my first sip.
Oh, this is really good.
It's pretty plain, but well made. The coffee isn't too bitter, which is perfect for me. With a moment to myself, my thoughts turn inwards as I sip the warm drink. My first travels were in search of someone, but despite my whole life being spent trying, I haven't made any progress in finding them. So, I've taken to simply wandering, going wherever I wish at the time. I'd been itching for a change of scenery anyway, so I boarded, snapped onto, the first airship that I could. The best part about owning nothing but clothes on my back is that I can pick up and leave whenever I feel like it. I take a moment to get my bearings and look around. See a tired-looking person shuffling along the far footpath with a briefcase in their hand. They stop outside one of the buildings, take a deep breath, pat their face a couple of times, and then go inside. They must not be looking forward to whatever's going to happen in there. Maybe they have to fight someone. Yeah, they gotta fight capitalism. Through the large glass windows of another store, a fawn is trying on a pair of shoes, but they don't seem to fit her hooves. Alright, we have confirmation that this is indeed the magical world of New Zealand. This is the world of Lord of the Rings, so you have mystical creatures running around. Everywhere else is like the rest of the world, but New Zealand, nah. New Zealand is a fantasy land. The people waiting with her look annoyed. Wonder if she fusses around with her footwear a lot. For a while, I simply let the day roll by and watch the various figures who stroll by. People watching is fun, especially in such a busy city. Although, if it is a magical world, then Miho's little trick of turning into a fox and running away, like at airport security, probably isn't as, like, clever an idea as it might be in a normal world. Because, at least by that logic then, like, there would be, like, more sort of, like, magical security measures, I would guess. Or at least people who might suspect that someone is able to transform. So, I don't know, we'll have to see if that comes up again later. I don't know, I might be overthinking things. It might not be that kind of story. Eventually, I go to sip my coffee, only to find nothing coming out. With no more reason to stick around, it's time to go. On the sunlit street, I look about to match what I can see with the map's directions. There's a tall green mountain in the distance ahead of me, which must be the one on the map. It'll be the perfect vantage point for the city. Ideally, I'll find an empty building I can crash in, but it's not necessary. A roof over my head would be nice, but I'm plenty used to sleeping outside under the stars. Sometimes it's better than sleeping in a bed. Encouraged by the plan forming in my head, I set off on the long walk to the summit. Alright. Let's head in this general direction, shall we? The path to the mountain turns out to be less simple than the map made it look. First, a trail takes me along the waterfront, then it turns upwards through a small forested area. Being among the trees and their tall shadows makes me feel at home. When the path leaves the woods again, I'm a little disappointed. It leads up a paved road, so I stick to the edge to avoid passing cars. Sometimes, I take shortcuts through yards or up unmarked paths. There are quite a few nice-looking homes right along the roadside. I make a mental note to go check them out when I'm low on money or food. Not much further along, a concrete lookout offers another glimpse of the city below. A couple airships are coming in to dock at the skyport, probably from one of the other floating islands. Yeah, so maybe they are actually airships, and it's not just something she's saying because she's unfamiliar with aeroplanes. There's still a ways to go to the top of the mountain, but luckily, the walk has been easy so far. I wouldn't even consider it a hike. Eventually, I reach the final stretch of road. I can see where it curves ahead to the summit, and I hurry to the end. A metal railing spreads out like a crown on top of the mountain. As I go to toss my empty cup away, a pair of chatting tourists pass me by. Hold on, were you holding onto that cup all this time? Was there not a bin back in the city, or like near the cafe or anything?
How far is it from here?
Oh, about an hour from the base of Mount Victoria, so a bit further from here.
Mount Victoria.
Glad to know what this place is called. I say the name out loud to help commit it to memory. Standing at the edge, I'm treated to a wonderful view of Wellington. The city forms a crescent moon shape around the bay, which glitters like a sapphire from up here. The sun is starting to set, and that makes the water even more shimmery. Even more airships can be seen coming and going. I think I can even see the edge of the floating island we're on, miles out in the open sky. I survey the city, using the skyport as a reference point. From up here, what felt like such a long chase really doesn't look far at all. If I strain my eyes, I think I can even see the coffee shop from earlier. What was it the barista said it was called? The Bell House? It's kind of tough to make out details. My hearing and sense of smell may be great, but my eyes aren't that much better than a human's. Then I noticed something useful.
Look! Is that our house?
Probably. What can you see from here?
I could see our house.
I see Dad's car!
Not too far away, there's a little kid who's using a pair of metal tubes attached to a post. His mum is helping him aim it at the city. It must be something that improves your vision. The moment the kid and his mum leave, I hurry over before someone else can get to them first. When I press my eyes to the same spot that the child did, though, all I can see is black. I try moving it around, but it doesn't change. Is this thing busted? That kid break it? God damn it. Some text is printed on the side. I have no idea what it says. There's a small slot, though, with a picture of a coin next to it. Lucky for me, it's the coin that has a 50 on it. I put the coin that I received from the barista into the slot and spin a lever. The machine eats my coin, and then when I put my eyes to it again...
Yes!
Everything looks much closer now. Even the trees on the other side of the hill appear in crystal clear detail, like I'm standing right next to them. I aim the viewing glasses at the city and look around, trying to find a good place to rest for the night. Houses are a no-go. Even if they look empty or abandoned, you can never let your guard down for a minute. Same with most shops. I don't have enough money for a hotel, and I won't risk sneaking into one of those either. As I'm studying the sights, trying to memorize as much as I can, there's a clicking sound, and once again, the view goes black. Stupid machine. I smack it a couple times and check again, but still can't see anything.
Well, whatever. Looks like I'm sleeping outside tonight. Guess this place is as good as any.
I head back down the trail a little bit and veer off of it into the underbrush. Alright. Time to find a
Not perfect, but it'll do.
nice spot in the park. It's not exactly the wilderness, but just about everything around here seems citified to some extent. Usually when I make a den, I prefer to find a place far from other people. A place where nobody will find me. I doubt I'll find anything perfect, but this is good enough.
It's fine. Can't afford to be picky.
Yeah, as we've only got $10 to our name. Once the trail I was on is out of sight, I transform again. My neck gets warm as my bead activates, and a few seconds later, I'm on all fours. As a fox, the sensations of nature are much stronger. Earth beneath my paws is cool and refreshing, and the breeze whips through my tails like a massage. I hurry down a hill covered in grass so tall that it reaches way over my head. I can smell fresh water and follow the scent to a small stream where I'm able to quench my thirst. It's just as satisfying as the drink I got at that cafe, but in a different way. And being able to slurp up water is way more enjoyable than having to use a straw. Or worse, one of those lids with the tiny holes. For a little while, I follow my nose to some berries and some edible plants that'll do for a snack. Unfortunately, unlike the water, foraging is never as satisfying as eating human food. If I want a real meal tonight, pick up the pace before it gets too dark. Still, I'm gonna get this done now, while there's still daylight. I keep close to the stream and search for a place where the ground is soft. Before too long, I find a promising area, a small valley with hills on most sides and thick foliage on the others. I'm still close enough to civilization to hear cars and other city noise, but the area I'm in doesn't seem like it gets visited very often. At the very least, it doesn't really smell like people. The spot that I settle on is a nice mound of earth near the edge of the woods, partially hidden by a tall tree with low-hanging leaves. Even if no one comes by, it makes me feel better knowing that I'll be out of sight. And so, I start to dig. My claws rip away the dirt as I burrow downwards, widening the tunnel just enough for my sleek frame to fit. First I dig forward, and then downwards, widening out an area that's big enough for my whole body to fit. This is something I've been doing my whole life, even back when I was just a regular fox. I think that's why I don't mind it too much. I end up sleeping inside somewhere. Just feels right to me. Takes a little while, and by the time I'm finally finished, the first few stars have started to peek out from the sky. I shake myself clean of the dirt that sticks to my coat, and transform back into my human form.
spread this here, a couple of branches here, some leaves there.
I walk around the valley a bit, checking from different angles.
Not bad for just an afternoon's work.
If you weren't looking for it, I don't think you'd ever notice anything out of place. All that digging has made me work up an appetite, not the kind that'll be satisfied with just a few berries.
Ugh, I'm so hungry. I haven't had a real meal since yesterday.
Stomach rumbles painfully. Been so busy since arriving here in Wellington that I kind of forgot just how hungry I was. I'll grab some human food back in town. Casting one last glance at my afternoon's work, I set off towards the city.
Work never ends. Time to get some food!
Yeah! Oh, right. Here we go. I'm a bit disappointed when I finally get back to the busy street from before. I was hoping that it would be emptier now, and that all of the stores would be closed. Lick salt so you get thirsty when someone complains about I like that one, Infernal. How you going? That's good. I like that. If I remember, I want to use that one myself. Turns out I was half right. A lot of shops have gone dark for the evening. There are just as many people walking around now as there were earlier. In fact, there might even be more. The patio of a restaurant has a bunch of tables full. A mermaid is sitting in the fountain I sat by earlier, chatting with the Cyclops. Even the cafe that I visited is crowded now, with a line almost out the door. I hope you're able to, walk around, mermaid, because a fountain is probably not all that big a home. After pacing up and down the road for a while, I sit down and try to figure out what to do next. Not too worried about what would happen if I got caught stealing. Just escape, obviously. And even if they somehow managed to catch me, it wouldn't be an issue for very long. See, there's something different about me that makes me extra good at being a thief. It's not just the skills I've practiced over the years, like picking locks and sneaking around. No. It's a bit more special than that. Without fail, every single person I meet forgets about me by next day. Alright, so that's our solution to the whole airport dilemma that I was concerned about before. I'm starting to get an idea of where the whole please be happy thing is going to come into play. Because, at least from what I have gathered, this is going to be a story about developing connections with other people, and obviously Miho right now does not have any connections with people. And this ability of hers, where people forget her every day, it's been done before in fiction before, obviously. And depending on how you sort of do it can be quite interesting to see where this goes. We'll see what happens. Sounds like that anime restaurant with doors in a very convenient places. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch that one. I've heard that one's pretty good. I can't remember what it was called, like Isekai Restaurant or something. The one that sort of gets customers from many different worlds. I don't know why. I don't really care either. It's magic. That's all I know about it. Really useful magic. Everywhere I go, no matter how careless I am, all of my problems are solved by the next day. That doesn't mean there's no danger. I've been caught in the act before and beaten or harassed before I can manage to get away. I've even lost a few prizes that I stole fair and square because I had to get going in a hurry. But someone sees me but isn't able to stop me, I know that I'll be home free. Sure, they might remember having something stolen, but they'll never know who did it. Almost makes things too easy. This smile over here. I might be reading into it a little bit too much. Could be reading into it deliberately as well, of course. But like that smile looks almost wistful to me. Now this could just be the way that people make associations. Like there's a famous select study going on where like people were shown like images of a person combined with like another image, and people would be like, oh, this person looks hungry, oh, this person looks scared, but it's the exact same image of the person with the same expression, and they were just forming that association based on what they're sort of seeing. So yeah, like if the way that I'm reading this right now, I'm going into like critical analysis, like thinking about like the themes of the story here, and so like going beyond what the text indicates at least, because I'm thinking ahead, and like obviously I know going in that this is going to be a romantic story of some sort. What with there being like two different love interest routes. So that paired with this text over here makes me think that this could potentially be a wistful look. That even if she's not willing to admit it or anything, stupid ad, like I'm going into critical analysis theory, okay? I am discussing important themes of this story, and like techniques to analyze stories, and you're just coming in and interrupting things for me, alright? God damn it, go away. We will get back to this lesson in a few minutes. I'm gonna go and get a drink, alright? See ya! Okay, I have returned. In that time, I also decided to go look up that technique that I was referring to, and it's called the Kuleshov effect. This was by the Soviet film editor Lev Kuleshov, and like it's all about like how like audiences will think that there's like subtle acting, but like just reusing like the same sort of like image. It's a very effective technique in montage. I'll write that down in chat over there so that people can look that up themselves. But yeah, it's very interesting and like a good way of just looking at things. Now, I'm not here to say that that Possum's idea that she just looks super smug is incorrect or anything like that. Like, absolutely. Like, I could see that as well. If I were to like just go off this over here, okay? Like, I can 100% see a smug look here too, but that's also like using the Kuleshov effect here. From the text written over here, like we can absolutely read that as being smug. Yeah, it can be read in multiple ways depending on the association that you have in your mind. And that's why I really enjoy like going into like analyses like that, because it lets you it helps you enjoy things in so many more levels. Raven. Sorry, just a Simpsons reference there. Anyway, let's get back into this, shall we? And I thank you very much for the clip, Ada. I do appreciate clips being made. It's fun to like take moments like righteous fury. Right now, it would be smarter to just come back even later in the dead of night and hope that there are no people around. I'd be able to take my time browsing without having to worry about making a quick escape. Nah, where's the fun in that though? I walk casually up and down the street, glancing into windows without being too obvious about it. Some stores still have customers inside, others have locked their doors and shut off the lights. Most of the restaurants are still open and are only making me hungrier. Stealing from restaurants is a bit much even for me though. I've tried it before, but the cluttered kitchens as well as the tables and chairs make it hard to get around. Plus, I've learned the hard way there are plenty of hot or sharp things for angry cooks to throw at you as you try to make your way out. I mean, like, don't you just go to a restaurant, like, order your food, eat, and then dine and dash? Like, is this not a thing that you can do? Like, if people forget you, you do not have to worry about this. Just go in, order your food, eat the food, and then run away. Like, this seems like it will be easy for you. Normally the bill comes at the end of the meal. Instead, packaged and pre-made foods are my best friends. Things I can grab multiples of at once and stuff into my pockets. If I'm really lucky, I'll find a place with refrigerated sandwiches or salads. Or sometimes, perfectly good hot food that gets thrown out. You wouldn't believe the kind of stuff that's available if you don't mind sifting through the trash a little bit. It's not ideal, of course, but a hot meal is a hot meal. I know plenty of foxes who have eaten much worse. Just don't go to one of those places that pours bleach on good food in order to ward off homeless people, the unhoused. That's a horrible practice, by the way. I think it is disgusting when that happens.
Target spotted.
Ooh, eyes locked. It's perfect. Small convenience store, snacks lined up behind the front window. even better, the shops on either side of it are closed too. There's not many other people in the area.
Locked, huh? Not surprising.
I head down a nearby alley and find the back door, which is probably where they bring in new products. The alleyway is dark to begin with. Dark clothes help me hide in even better. I glance around the alley, glad like always for my excellent night vision. Nobody's watching. Nobody's even around. I pull my hood up over my ears and tuck my tail between my legs, leaning against the sturdy door. To anyone not looking closely, I'm sure I appear as nothing more than a shadow. I wonder if you're able to be captured on, like, video. Like, have we got like a vampire thing sort of going on here, where, like, pictures don't work and, like, video cameras don't, like, record you or anything like that? Because, like, even if, like, they remember that something got stolen, right? They just don't remember it was you. So, like, if there's, like, video footage, then, and that captures you, then, like, at least there's that evidence, right? I dig around in my pocket until I find my trusty lockpick, and then set to work on the door. It isn't a complicated lock at all, just a regular keyhole. Someone's been watching the Locksmith Lawyer, or whatever his name is, on YouTube. With a click, the latch springs open just a few short moments later.
Bingo. Huh?
I try to tuck the door towards me. There's a chain on the inside that keeps it from opening very wide. There's no way a human could fit through the gap, but it would be easy for a fox. First, I slink away for a bit, idling on the nearby street like a regular pedestrian. Wait to see if anyone shows up, just in case I trigger the silent security system. After about 10 minutes, I decide it's safe. I transform under cover of darkness in the alley and slip into the building before transforming back. The shop isn't very big, and the receiving area is just a small hallway with a few boxes of soda and candy bars on the floor. I grab a couple of my favorites and shove them into my pockets. When I creep into the main area, I make sure to stay low to the ground, trying to avoid being seen from outside. Not exactly hidden, but as long as I don't stand up, it shouldn't attract anyone's attention. You can't survive on candy bars alone, mijo. You need some more nutritious things in your diet. I move fast, cramming as much into my coat as I can. Cookies, protein bars, popcorn. I'm not very picky. When my coat starts to feel pretty heavy, I grab a plastic bag from behind the counter and transfer some of my loot into there. Also take a few bottles of water and sports drinks from the coolers. I don't know, like a jacket's maybe got some pockets. Like this jacket over here. Like, we have seen that she's able to, like, pull this up, like, over her body and completely. So I'm guessing, like, there's, like, pockets in there, right? Just as I'm about to leave, I spot a few of those coveted plastic wrapped sandwiches that I was thinking about earlier.
Jackpot!
I fill my bag with sandwiches until it's almost overflowing, then I head back out the way I came in. In total, I was in and out in under 5 minutes, and I've got enough supplies to last me several days. When I step into the alley, glance around in both directions, making sure no one saw me emerge from the store. I don't see anyone, but my neck prickles as if someone is watching me. I sniff the air, but don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Nothing that wasn't there before. still... Suddenly, there's a flap of wings, and a bat flutters past me from out of the shadows, goes right over my head, and disappears from sight up the street.
Oh, that's it?
The bat! I let out the breath I've been holding, and start making my way back towards the mountain where I made my den. I let the bag swing from my arm as I walk, whistling a song I heard earlier. I'm not able to keep a smile off my face.
All in all, not a bad first day.
Yoink!
I've got a nice nest, food to spare, and plenty of places to explore tomorrow.
Yeah! There's been plenty of days in my life where I had none of those things. I unwrap one of the sandwiches that I grabbed and take a big bite.
Nothing beats the taste of hard work.
I hope Wellington continues to treat me well while I'm here.
So tired. I'm gonna sleep so well tonight.
I unpack everything that I got from the store, as well as the treasures that I always carry with me. My lockpick, my wallet, a few pretty stones. The only thing that I leave in my jacket is a small scroll.
Can't get that damaged or dirty.
What's on the scroll, Miho? What's on the scroll? I change back into a fox and then dig another hole near the entrance to my den. This one is much simpler and shallower, and I bury some of the snacks that I stole before covering them back up with dirt.
Not like anyone's gonna come by and swipe my things, but better safe than sorry.
Has anyone seen those videos of foxes stealing people's phones and like running away to bury them? I'm just thinking of that right now.
I stole this myself, after all. Don't want it being stolen from me.
I think so. It's possibly that one. Stuff like my pen and my favorite rock go into the burrow with me, since I like having them close by. Once I've got everything where it belongs, I climb into the hole myself, turning a few circles before settling down with my tail wrapped around me. Foxes are sneaky. From here, I have a perfect view of the stars. I look up at the clear night sky through the mouth of the tunnel. I feel bad for all the people way down on the underworld.
Can they even see the stars from there?
Light pollution. I've never been to the underworld, so I have no idea. I can't imagine falling asleep without them. I suppose if we're referring to literally, like, hell and all that, like, yeah, they've got Earth above them, probably. Mole people. Comfortable and safe, I close my eyes and quickly slip off to dreamland. I wake up to trouble, or at least a threat. I'm sure it's only morning as I peer out the burrow's entrance, but the sky is already dark and foreboding. My attention moves from the ominous rain clouds above the trees outside my den, their branches shaking at a strong breeze. I mean, the barista told you it was gonna rain!
I can't believe that girl from the cafe was right!
He's a rain spirit! It's Kobo! I climb up the tunnel and out into the open, sniffing the air. It just tells me what I already know. A storm is coming, and fast. But also, another scent plays on my nose. One so faint that I almost brush it off before taking another smell. Surely I'm wrong. There's no way that... Lowering my snout to the ground, I investigate the area, and then decide that I'm right. I change into my human form and look around.
Someone's been here.
Yes, someone's definitely been here. This scent isn't a human's. It's vaguely familiar, but at the same time, not like anything I recognize.
And it definitely wasn't here when I went to sleep.
They must have come here in the night and stopped right outside my den.
Were they watching me sleep?
Creepy.
Oh crap!
My loot! As a fox, I dive back into my hole to make sure everything is still there. My heart pounds on my chest, but nothing appears to be missing. I also check the spot where I buried my stash from last night, but that hasn't been disturbed either. Check the scroll! I breathe a sigh of relief. Any of my stuff had been stolen, I'd be so mad. But that still doesn't answer the question of what they did want. And that's even more concerning. I'm a pretty light sleeper, and usually the slightest sound or motion will wake me up. So if someone was able to sneak up on me, even I have to be impressed. Yeah, she looks kind of impressed there. Well done, well played. Impressed and a little bit worried. Absolutely. But a more pressing issue right now, though, and I stare up at the sky in disappointment.
Ugh, I hate the rain.
I like the rain as long as I'm not caught in the huge downpour, or if it knocks the power out, or if it gets my electronics wet, or if it's like raining enough that my shoes get soaked. I would have found a different place to make my nest and hide my supplies if I'd known this would happen. Instead, both burrows will probably just be piles of mud by the end of today. Not inside your house, quite. If only someone had told me it was going to rain today. If only there was a way I could have foreseen this problem.
I should have found a place with a roof after all.
I fill my pockets with my most important possessions and some of the food I grabbed last night. Everything else, I wrap as tightly in the plastic bags as I can and bury them in my den. Thank you very much for gifting that sub, Callista. I do appreciate it. Hopefully, I can find somewhere fast and then move everything else over before it gets ruined. An abandoned house would be perfect, or some other place where I'd be able to hide. Yay, another friendo! I'm just about to get going when a loud flapping sound overhead catches my attention. I expect it to be a bird, but instead, it's yet another bat. Bat! It's cute! This one is even bigger than the one I saw last night. Its wings are way longer and noisier. I can even hear it squeaking something as it flies past. Some people say bats and foxes are similar. I don't see it. I watch it fly around for a little while before it takes off towards the city.
Maybe it knows somewhere to stay. Guess I'll follow it for now.
I mean, at least, I don't know if they're in New Zealand, but you have flying foxes in Australia, at least, and they're basically really big bats, and it also, links the whole bat and fox thing even closer. And you also do see them flying around, not at, night. So, yeah. You can see them flying around while it's still light out. A couple times it disappears between the trees or just too far ahead, but I always manage to catch back up. Almost like it's leading me somewhere. Eventually, we're out of the woods and back into civilization, where a car whizzes right past me. There's a sidewalk here and other people walking around. I mean, I would call it a footpath. Oh, hold on, just a quick language analysis right here. New Zealand English is... I don't speak New Zealand English, but I assume New Zealand English is probably closer to Australian English. And the people writing this have gone with Z rather than S, and sidewalk instead of footpath. So I'm guessing that Studio Alan is not a New Zealand-based company. They've just decided that they want to set their game in New Zealand. It's something that I'm going to go out on a limb and say. Most of them look up to the sky nervously, though, and everyone seems to be in a hurry.
Guess I'm not the only one looking to get away from the rain.
Why have we got that one there again? That one seems yeah, makes sense. Could also have been an active decision. I have worked on visual novels in the past, and they have had like strict formatting requirements in terms of language to be used. Like it might say, like specifically, we are using American English, so use American English. And like, yeah, like there might not have been a direction. So the lead writer or the editor might have gone with American English because that was theirs, perhaps. So, yeah, could have also been an active decision to go with that anyway for marketing reasons, because chances are you're going to have like a larger share in the American market. So you want to use a dialect of English that is more familiar to them. Admittedly, I've also worked on games where it's been like, this game is very specifically set in England, so we are making the active decision to use British English. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting paths you can take towards writing, I guess. Just something that I wanted to like talk about and share real quick while I was on the topic. More people seem to be going in the direction I was headed than anywhere else, so I stick to that. By now, my winged guide is almost out of sight again. Just a little black speck in the sky, flying into the distance. Farther up this road, there's a slope that leads to a big, fancy-looking building. Doesn't look like a shop or a restaurant, at least not one that I've ever seen, but there are so many people going in and out that it has to be open to the public. That's good enough for me. Give me somewhere dry to spend some time, and maybe I can learn something useful. I am an advocate for having a strong direction at the start of a project, though, in the names of like having consistency, like everyone knowing what they're doing, that sort of thing. Especially if you have multiple people working on it, everyone needs to be on the same page. Otherwise, people will like step on each other's toes. You'll have inconsistencies at the end that will either need to be fixed up, leading to more work needing to be done, or getting missed. And like, well, not everyone will notice. Some people will, and like, let's be consistent, right? Let's be consistent. Plus, places like this usually have plenty of valuables inside. If I'm lucky, might be able to find something to fund my next few days. After all, the bigger the target, the less likely they are to notice something's missing. The sturdy oak door isn't as heavy as it looks, firm push being enough to heave it open. Gingerly stepping inside and out of the rain, I'm greeted by books. Lots of books. I love books. Books on shelves, books on tables, books on the floor, books everywhere. The place even smells of musty old paper, and a dozen or so people inside are mostly leafing through pages in the aisles. The odd silence about the building is striking, given how many are around. Doesn't look like a shop, so I assume this must be a library. I've heard of them, but I've never been in one. No point, since I can't read and all. But it's warm and cozy and very dry, so it'll do just fine. There's a desk near the entrance with a computer on it that I assume would be where I check in. It's unattended, which is good for me. Myth on the Prowl. I need to pay attention to those song names a bit. I take a seat in an empty chair nearby and sit back just to observe for a bit. There are plenty of people, but it's not too busy. Lots of empty, unwatched spaces. Most folks seem to be here alone, or in small groups that keep to themselves. Not much conversation going on, and what there is all whispered. Nobody gives me a second glance, which is a good sign. Means I'm probably not breaking any rules just by being here. Behind the desk, there's a hallway leading deeper into the building, and I peek around the corner to see what's back there. All I can see are some shut doors and, at the very back, a staircase. I saw that picture in the back. That was a person at the main title screen. After glancing around to make sure no one's watching, I sneak down the hall and try a couple of the doors. All of them are locked. I could probably pick them if I wanted to. No sense trying to do that now, though. Is there anything more valuable around? An antique clock or vase would be perfect. I mean, you gotta find a buyer for that. Like, seriously, like, not a lot of people are looking for antique clocks or vases. Like, it is not easy to upload them, especially if you're illiterate and can't, like, access, like, classifieds or, like, eBay or things like that. Like, you're not gonna have much luck, is what I'm saying. Sadly, it's almost all books. Books and small trinkets that look pretty worthless. Not even worth the trouble of stealing. At least it's got a roof. I do spot a couple promising items instead of old coins, and memorize their locations. I hope they're not the silver denarii. I wander back to the main area where I came in. Outside, it hasn't started raining yet, but it's only a matter of time. The wind is loud and gusty, and even opening the door is enough to make me shiver. If nothing else, I can probably wait out the rain here. More abandoned snacks back at the den. What a waste. Can't do anything about it now, though. I should keep looking around. I move slowly through the area, never going beyond what seems to be the public area. I pretend to inspect a few books, taking them off the shelves and flipping through the pages, but I'm actually mapping out the place in my head. Doors, windows, and potential places to hide, things like that. Most of the time, this kind of info is unnecessary. Been at least a few decades since I've had to make a dramatic escape from anywhere. At this point, plotting an escape route is just a habit. Overall, I like what I'm seeing. Even with the locked doors and off-limit hallways, there are a lot of nooks and crannies that would make good hiding spots, especially as a fox. From the thick dust that coats a lot of these areas, I can tell they don't get a whole lot of visitors. If I'm careful, I'd be able to go a whole week or more without being noticed. As long as I can get in and out of the building easily, that is. And with the huge windows that line the back wall, that seems easy enough too. I weave around a couple shelves that are taller than I am, heading for the far back corner. I peer around the corner of the last aisle, just to make sure I'm alone. But I'm not. At a small table by the window sits a woman with a small book in her hand, resting against her fingers. She is perfectly still, but mouths the words on the page as she reads, like she's tasting them, instead of just seeing them. Her expression has the distant look of someone way off in their own world, far away from this one. She looks so at peace that I think she must belong in that other world. She's beautiful and elegant in the same way as a painting, with the light from the window shining on her like a display. I duck back behind the bookshelf, pressing one hand to my racing heart. My other bumps against one of the books on the shelf. It falls with a dusty thump. She's got a tree name! Is she a Pokemon professor? Cursing my clumsiness, I silently back away, in case she decides to investigate. But she doesn't leave her chair.
I suppose it's nothing.
She is cute, not a Pokemon professor. Gotcha. She turns and gazes out the open window. At what? I don't know. Skyrim NPC. I hear the mud crabs are causing problems on the main highway. Nasty little things. Goodbye. A moment later, he returns to her book and leaves this world again. I stay hidden, my face still burning a little bit. Yes, I think this will be the perfect place to spend some time. Suddenly, there's a much louder boom than the one that I caused, as thunder rumbles outside. A few people around the library startle at the sound and look around. Sighing, the girl in the chair pulls the window beside her closed, the first drops of rain falling not a minute later. Honestly, it is really nice to curl up with a book in bed with the rain outside. It's not an activity I do a lot these days, admittedly, because usually I'm reading either audiobooks or I go to bed way too late to read in bed, compared to what I normally do, so I need to sleep. But it's still something that I think is a lot of fun to do. Again, especially on rainy nights. I suppose obviously there is the reading by a fireplace on a rainy night, but I do not have a fireplace. And also fireplaces are pretty bad, air pollution wise for your home. It's I do enjoy fire and burning things. When you go camping or whatever, and you have a little fire and either cook things on a fire barbecue, or even just marshmallows or whatever, or even just enjoying the heat and the crackle of it. I enjoy that, but fireplaces are bad for the home. I'll investigate the windows later. Right now, I don't want to bother her. So, I head back to one of the plush chairs on the other side of the library and take a seat. I could be here a while, depending on how long the rain lasts, so may as well get comfy. I find a few books that have more pictures than words, and curl up in one of the soft chairs to flip through them. There aren't as many of those ones, and I go through the stack pretty fast. It takes long enough for the rain to start, though. The longer I read, the louder the pounding of the rain and the howling of the wind become. Guess it's not letting up anytime soon. Can't complain, though. This library is pretty cozy by my usual standards. It's warm and safe. Nobody tells me to go away. I even have snacks. More than once, I get up and walk around the library again, even though I've got most of it memorized by now. I take note of things like a child's stuffed toy lying on the floor in one section, or the thin blanket that's stuffed between a bookshelf and the wall. On my third or fourth trip, I finally find something I've been looking for. In one of the far corners, totally opposite from where I saw the reading girl earlier, there's a single chair and small table. The painting itself is of a girl with light brown hair, but I barely pay any attention to that. What I'm interested in is the frame. It's lovely. Looks like it might be made out of gold. It certainly shines like it. It's carved intricately into the shape of waves, flowing up and down. It's gotta be worth something. I pretend to not pay much attention to it as I make my way back to my table. There are too many other people around for me to be able to try to sneak it out. It's too big to fit under my jacket without being obvious. That just means I'll have to come back some other time. Maybe once this place is closed. The hours pass by and the storm continues. Kind of disappointed about losing a whole day, especially so soon after arriving. It's not like I'm in any sort of hurry. I pat one of my pockets, feeling the familiar and reassuring weight of the paper scroll tucked away there. That scroll is the only thing close to a purpose that I have, and it's not particularly urgent. Or at least, don't have any way to deal with it faster. I spend a long time reading. It's almost afternoon when I go and check the windows again. The rough weather outside continues. At this rate, I'll be sleeping in a puddle of mud tonight. Unless... A quick check shows that a lot of the other library patrons have left. It's not empty, but it's not nearly as full as earlier. I guess some of them decided it was worth braving the rain. Looking as nonchalant as I can, I get up from my seat and pretend to browse again, slowly moving through the shelves. The reading girl is gone now, though she's not what I was looking for. Instead, I pick up the dropped toy and blanket that I spotted earlier, and then head to one of the out-of-the-way hiding spots I picked out before. It's on the floor, between a shelf and the wall, but has a bit of carpet to help make it softer. Even better, it's between two corner shelves, meaning that it's practically out of sight if you're not looking for it. I wriggle my way between the furniture and lie down, using the toy as a pillow and draping the blanket over me. I toss and turn a few times before finally settling down.
Yep, not bad at all.
Even though I haven't done much today, I'm always down to take a nap. I can pass a few hours by sleeping, wake up once it's dark, and then grab that picture frame and be on my way. I'll have to rebuild my den once I get back, but that's a problem for future me. I yawn, staring up at the ceiling until my eyes get heavy.
Maybe today won't be a total waste after all.
The soft sound of cloth rustling wakes me from my dreamless sleep. How did someone sneak up on me twice now? Don't know how long it's been. The sky outside has darkened significantly, and now stars twinkle outside the window. There's no time to react as the sound comes closer. I hear no footsteps, but suddenly a woman steps into view. Her clothes are pure white, making her stand out like a ghost in the dark library. Her cape rustles again as she reaches towards one of the shelves. One of the shelves I am hiding behind, to be precise. Gingerly, she moves 2 books to the side and slides another book into the space she created. She handles them like precious treasures that might break if she's too rough. I stay perfectly still, afraid to even breathe in case she notices me. My heart beats wildly as she slowly and deliberately looks over the shelf, examining their titles before taking a book from the second lowest row. Through the gap she creates in the shelves, our eyes meet in the darkness. Oh no. I tense up as she steps around the shelving between us to get a better look at me, preparing myself to leap away if the need arises. The carefully memorized layout of the library flashes through my mind as I frantically plot the best way to flee. Even as I prepare my escape, I can see her taking in everything about me. The stolen blanket, the makeshift pillow, my generally disheveled appearance. She opens her mouth, and I brace myself for the verbal attack that's sure to come.
Hello there. May I ask why you're sleeping on the floor?
It was comfy? Doesn't matter what I say. Just distract her enough to get away.
I don't have anywhere else to sleep.
I thought so.
She leans down and offers me a hand. I look at it warily. I don't take it, but I slowly stand, letting the blanket fall to my feet and trying to subtly get in position to run.
Well, I have an extra room on the second floor that you're welcome to borrow, if you'd prefer that.
She is a good girl.
Otherwise, you're more than welcome to remain here, on the ground. I apologize for waking you.
With a smile, the oddly calm woman steps away and busies herself organizing another row of books. She probably expects me to let my guard down and take her offer. I'm just a stranger, someone who broke into her library. There's no reason for her to treat me kindly. My years of experience, and there are plenty of those, tell me it's a trap.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'll just be going, actually. Sorry to bother you like this.
I hurry past her, shoulders tense as I expect her to grab me or try to stop me. She doesn't, though. The one time I glance back, she's watching me with a strange expression that I don't recognize. When I get outside and away from the library, I breathe a sigh of relief.
Whew, that was close. I'm not falling for that one again.
The last time I let someone feel sorry for me and accepted a place to stay, I woke up to them trying to empty my wallet. I may be a thief, but at least I do it honestly. I wouldn't try to trick someone like that. That wasn't the first time someone tried to fool me and take advantage of me either.
Still, It's a shame to lose such a nice hiding place. Maybe I'll give it a couple days for that woman to forget about me, and then try again. If she wasn't lying about there being an empty room on the second floor, then maybe I could sneak into there.
Tonight, though, I'm on my own. Shivering, I've wrapped my coat and tail tightly around myself as I think about what to do next. The rain has stopped, although it's still cold and cloudy. My stomach grumbles. I haven't eaten anything other than snacks all day.
Ugh.
I may as well get it over with and go check on the status of my den.
Well, it could be worse.
Could be better, but could be worse. It's not as bad as I expected, which is a pleasant surprise.
What's a little mud? It'll be just fine.
It's just a little muddy. It's still good, it's still good. I swapped my fox form to prod around. The entrance is caved in a little, but after I scoop that out, I find that the rest of the tunnels and main room are relatively intact. Cold as hell, but intact. Seems the trees protected the den from a lot of the rain. Takes me a while to find the spot where I buried my stash, since the stick I used to mark the spot got washed away. Eventually I locate it though, and start digging. Cold mud makes my paws dirty and sore, and little flecks cover my fur. After I finally reach the soggy plastic bags, I shake myself clean before opening them as a human. Some water is seeped through though, and I open the spoiled items before tossing them away. I'm not too picky, but I have plenty of other snacks to choose from.
Eat up, birdies!
A few of them swoop down to inspect the offering, scarf down a quick meal of cookies and unwarmed soup, along with some cold water from the stream. At least the water is satisfying. Then, even though I just woke up from a nap not too long ago, I shift back to my fox form to crawl into my den and curl up. She's really just like a human. I mean, like, while raccoons have the reputation for being like dumpster divers, foxes are also pretty at home, like diving in the trash, right? And I'm just saying, there's a reason why raccoons and foxes are often seen together. They're thick as thieves. I'm sure it'll be a while before I fall asleep, but I don't feel like going back into town. I've had enough excitement for one day. This isn't all that bad. Regular foxes without magic powers have it way worse than I do. Although, back when a fox was all I was, I wouldn't have really cared. Yep. I should check out the birds here. The birds are really good at going through garbage where I'm at. To this day, I'm not sure what it is that makes me different. I used to be just like them. No desire to go beyond the forest or anything. And then one day, I became whatever I am now. All I had was my necklace, a small scroll that I can't read, and the memory of the person who had given it to me. Oh, you don't even have to leave the bins open here. The birds can open it on their own. Check out like cockatoos and like ibises in Australia. Like they're bigger than crows are, and they know how to open bins. I'm not sure if the ibises can. I know the cockatoos can. But the ibises, they're also pretty big, and like with their like long beaks, they're able to sort of like crack it open and like get in there if they need to. They were so kind to me, that stranger in the forest. They wished me well, even though I was just an ordinary fox. Somehow, that didn't seem to matter to them. I never even knew their name, just their face and their voice. But I know that I'll recognize them when I see them again. It's just a matter of finding them. So since then, I've been looking and surviving. And then it turns out that it's the barista all along, and I just didn't recognize them. Looking for them is what keeps me going. It's enough to live for. If I wasn't, I don't know what else I'd be doing. Guess I'd just be surviving, but if that was the only thing, I think I'd rather have just stayed a fox. You gotta do something, right? Alright, Tuesday morning. Standing outside my den in human form, I take stock of how things stand. Possum, thank you very much for following. Welcome to the Fox Shrine. I hope you enjoy your stay. And, yeah, we haven't actually had to save the game yet, have we? Let's save the game. Fairy Kiss Chiller. Tired and uneasy, Mio heads to the cafe for a fresh start to the day. Spoilers! Spoilers! Alright. Oh, and let's that straight as well. That is important. Okay. So, take stock of how things stand. The sun's thankfully out this morning, but everything remains damp, from the ground to the muggy air itself. No more reading chapters. It's just voice chapters. No more reading chapters, or like going out here to check that. This is... Alright. The chill on the breeze is the worst, making me shiver every time it hits me. Yeah. Oh, I have to go save the game. The chill on the breeze is the worst, making me shiver every time it hits me. The Bell House was pleasant when I visited a couple of days ago, so I decided to head down towards the main street and get a coffee there while working out my next moves. Alright, didn't spoil too many things. Coming to the door of the cafe, I pause and wipe my feet on the mat outside. The human fascination with surrounding themselves in concrete makes a little more sense as I work the mud off my feet. With that, I finally head inside, only to stop in my tracks as the door shuts behind me. Standing behind the counter is the same girl who I saw reading in the library yesterday, talking with a customer as she takes their order. That gentle aura about her is unmistakable. The person in front of me finishes their order, and I step up to the counter.
Good morning. Welcome to the Bell House.
You're not Barista! You're not allowed to share the same name as Barista.
What can I make for you today? Oh, hi. I'll have...
A vanilla latte? No, that's boring.
What do you recommend? I want to try something new.
I would suggest a mocha. Though, is chocolate dangerous to foxes? Two people with the same name working at the same coffee shop. I know, right? It's really weird. Maybe they should change their name from the Bell House to the Barista House.
I'm glad you asked. I was just thinking that you look like the sort of person who would enjoy one of our Fairy Kiss Chillers.
That's the title of the chapter. I am very much intrigued by that name. Tell me more about it.
It's one of our signature drinks, with a vanilla gelato base and a mint chocolate chip swirl.
I am sold. I was planning to get something warm, but that does sound pretty good.
Okay, give me one of those then. Perfect, and could I get your name, please? It's Miho.
She scribbles something onto a cup and finishes it with a big flourish.
I'll have that right out for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I pay and then go to take the same seat as before, next to one of the windows. It's pretty empty in here again, so I can sit wherever I want. Before the barista starts making my drink, I spot her writing something else down in a little notebook. She glances my way once or twice while she does, but I pretend not to notice. Oh hey, written records of my presence! This will counter the magic. I wonder what it is. The barista yesterday didn't write anything down. Anyway, I've got more important things on my mind. Oh, and looks like we have an ad break now. At least this time I'm not talking about critical analysis of the story, so I don't feel so bad having a break right now. Alright, so we will have our second ad break, and then we will be right back, okay? Alright. Done with our little ad break. Let us resume the game, shall we? I mull over the plan which formed as I walked here, becoming increasingly happy with it. Tonight, I've already decided I'm going to sneak back into that library. I highly recommend you get yourself an ad blocker there, Infernal. The internet's full of ads. Ads are not good. Oh, I don't fucking care about the money. Like, I've got ads active on my channel solely to make things less annoying for people who are new to the stream. Because, at least for me, I often, like, switch off of a new stream if I get, like, hit with an ad. Because, I don't know, I've got, like, a short attention span or something like that. So I figure that's a way to, like, manage things better in general. It gives me a chance to refill my drink. It gives other people a chance to go to the bathroom during those ad breaks. I know when they're going to be happening, so I can, like, get around it, at least. So that's why I've got things set up that way. If I had my way, there would be no ads at all. But since I don't have that option, I figured this is the least bad option. This way I can, like, work around it so people don't have to miss out on anything. Alright. Between that picture frame and some of the other trinkets I saw, I should be able to pilfer enough to fund my next few days in Wellington. Finding somewhere to sell it should be the easy part. I've got a dozen excuses that I can recite about where the items came from. Dead grandma, spring cleaning, new renovations. Yeah, but like, lots of places aren't interested in that sort of thing. Like, it's hard to sell artwork, it's hard to value artwork. Like, I know that you're talking about, like, hey, the frame might be gold. If the frame is gold, then alright, fair enough, you'll be able to sell that. But, like an art piece, like, that's gonna be harder. Sometimes I try extra hard and pretend that the things I'm selling are really special to me and earn a bit more cash that way. Sometimes I just take whatever they give me. After years of watching other humans do it and trying it out myself, I've gotten pretty good at pawning items off. I find myself idly watching the barista make me a drink. While I do, I practice a disarming smile. All of her movements are quick and practiced, but she has that same faraway look in her eyes that I noticed yesterday. She looks up, and our eyes meet. I don't look away, but she turns pink before ducking away behind a machine, out of sight.
Huh. Weird girl.
Says the weird girl. I turn my head around and to look around the cafe. I personally would have rewritten that in some way to avoid having two arounds in the same sentence. I find that annoying whenever I see it in my own writing, so that's what I would have done. And a butterfly outside catches my attention, so I watch that instead. It flutters back and forth, landing on a flower and resting its wings.
Miho!
Oh, my coffee's ready. I quickly get up and skip over to the counter. Cup in hand, she starts to head over to give it to me. But then, several things happen at once. Do we have a clumsy scene? Yes! Clumsy scene! One of the little tassels on the pocket of her apron catches on one of the drawers behind the counter, and she jerks to a stop, eyes wide with surprise. Yep, this is definitely going to end poorly. And my drink tumbles out of her hand, landing on the counter with a wet bloop sound as the ice cream splats against it, sending mint green rivers of coffee everywhere. It could have been much worse. I was expecting that to go all over Miho, to be honest. A few seconds pass where we just look at each other, neither of us quite sure what to do. And then she takes a deep breath. That'll be $10, please.
I am so sorry. I'll make you a replacement right away. Just give me 1 second and I'll have that ready for you.
Her words spill out faster than the beverage, making it hard to even understand what she's saying. Her face is bright red as she spins back around and grabs another empty cup. Then she stops, hands hovering awkwardly.
Wait, I should clean this up before it dries and starts to go bad.
I like that voice there, right there. She hurries back to the mess, wiping at it with some napkins. I'm gonna need to get some spray and wipe with that as well or something. She mops up as much of it as she can with one hand, then leaves the soggy paper on the counter while she starts to remake my drink.
I'm really sorry. This is such an embarrassment. I
don't even know if she's talking to me or to herself. I freeze up for a second, looking for an appropriate response to an apology. I'm not used to people apologizing to me. When I wasn't thinking of it being fan service or anything, I was just thinking of it going in her face or something. But the Mume hair justifying those tone changes.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not in a hurry.
Instead, I just sit back down at one of the tables and watch. She makes the drink twice as fast and then carries it very slowly to the counter, setting it down in a clean spot. This time, she takes a deep breath before speaking, like she's afraid she's going to mess that up too.
All right, here's your drink. Again, I'm very sorry. Oh. This is your first time here, isn't it? I hope it doesn't leave a bad impression.
Second, actually. Yesterday was the first time. How'd you know?
I mean, she didn't know.
I make an effort to remember as many of our customers as I can, as well as their favorite orders. I believe you can learn a lot about a person from how they drink their coffee.
It's funny because we had Coffee Talk as one of our other games to potentially be streaming, and now it looks like we have a coffee shop as an important venue. Although we are playing as the customer rather than the barista. Well, that's too bad for her because she won't remember me at all next time. I take a big sip of the drink she made for me. It's creamy and rich and sweet all at the same time.
Whoa, this is really good. It's kind of like a milkshake, but not. But it's not like coffee either.
Yes, exactly. I'm very glad that you like it. It's one of my favorite beverages that we serve. In fact, the recipe was my idea.
Good job.
Whoa! They should put you in charge of all the recipes.
She smiles again. Seems like she's gotten over the crisis of the spilled drink already.
Thank you. I'll make you another one of my favorites next time, if you'd like.
Totally!
At least I'll know what to order next time, even though I'll have been forgotten. I'm already thinking of this place as my go-to coffee shop, especially since it's in a convenient area. With tasty drinks and cute baristas, I don't have a reason to go anywhere else. What sort of food have they got? A knocking sound from the employee area gets both our attention.
Hey, Aspen, can you start another batch of croissants?
There we go, we found out what sort of food it's got. Croissants, like, that's honestly expected of a coffee shop.
Oh, sure. I'll be right there.
Oh yeah, we can also see the croissants over there. And looks like some cookies as well. Some biscuits. Probably got some muffins over there as well, I would assume. She calls back over her shoulder and then looks back at me briefly.
Have a nice day, Miho.
You too.
With a wave, she gathers the trash from the cleanup and throws that away before disappearing into the back. So, her name is Aspen. That's a pretty name. I'll have to try and remember that. Getting up from my seat, I decide to head back outside for some fresh air. Sipping my fairy kiss chiller as I go, I head out the door and onto the increasingly busy main street. I already know my plans for tonight, but I've still got some time to kill before then. What should I do? Oh, you got choices apparently. Well, this is where I like to save when I've got choices available. Not sure what the symbols are meant to mean. It looks like we get to meet characters there, and time possibly passes? But time doesn't pass at Cuba Street and the Den, if I had to guess. I guess we'll find out anyway. Go Cuba Street. Say that Perp always returns to the scene of the crime, so I head back to the main streets. By the looks of it, the store I swiped from is the same as always. The person sweeping the front of the store doesn't even seem a little bit stressed. I never steal enough for it to be noticeable, but it's always a point of pride that the place looks the same as always the next day. A smug smile creeps on my face as I pass by, snacking on the chocolate bar that I took from their shelves. Alright. And then, without much else to do to pass the time, I head back to my den. It's not the best place to hang around, honestly, but it's comfortable enough. Looking around the small area, I shift back into my usual form. Have to kill some time? Might as well have fun while I'm at it. Whee! A couple of hours later, I've happily had my fill of chasing butterflies and snacking on mushrooms. Okay, time to get back to it. Alright. So, chat, I am going to ask you if you have any preference on where we should go. To either Mount Victoria, where we possibly have like an animal person of some kind over there, or to Oriental Bay, where we've got someone with, looks like short hair. What do we like the sound of? Is there a preference? We like mountains or water? We like ears or ears, I guess, just a different kind of ears. Let's pick which to go first. All right. Well, in that case, I figure let's start with the mountain, and then we will go down to the bay, solely because that way we get to like start with like walking up the mountain, and then we get to walk down instead of like getting tired out first and then having to walk up the mountain at the. So we'll go with Mount Victoria. Sounds like other people want to go to Mount Victoria first though. So I'm going to go to Oriental Bay and say no. I'm sticking with my decision. Let's go Mount Victoria. I have plenty of time to kill, also plenty of restless energy. I decided to go for a walk up Mount Victoria just to give myself something to do. I take the long way up this time, instead of taking a bunch of shortcuts like usual. It winds through neighborhoods and then back out again, with only the occasional car passing by on the street. Compared to some of the other cities I've been in lately, the air here is a lot cleaner. The smell of nature shines through. can't compare to being out in the wild for real, of course, but it's nice not to be choking on exhaust fumes everywhere I go. Houses are weird, though. Many of them sit up on tall legs like giant bugs with windows for eyes. More people seem to be coming down the mountain than going up it. Lots of them zip past on bikes or skateboards, while others are jogging or just walking.
This path is longer than I thought.
I mean, you chose to take the long route, right? About halfway up or so, there's a wooden bench just off the sidewalk. It's occupied by a man with dark hair and big sunglasses. As I'm about to pass by, he waves.
Well, hello, miss. Nice evening for a walk, eh?
You sound suspicious, gentlemen. Huh? Is he talking to me? He must be. Nobody else here. He must be talking to me. You feel lucky, punk? Chatting's usually not my thing, but for the moment, I appreciate the distraction.
It sure is. I'm glad the rain's gone.
Oh, for now, yeah. It's never gone for long, though, is it?
That's so. I'm new here. I didn't even think it would rain since it was so sunny the day before.
Ho ho ho! You've gotta watch out for that around here. Mother Nature's real fickle these days. One minute you're on the pier, enjoying the sunshine. Next minute, whoosh!
Makes a whoosh noise with his breath and a wavy motion with his hands.
Storm clouds, as far as the eye can see. That's just Welly for you, though. You live with the sunshine and the clouds. Where are you from, then? Guessing you're not a Kiwi?
Nah, I'm a fox, not a bird.
The man laughs, a deep belly laugh. Like usual, I'm not sure what I said that was funny. That's a good one.
Not like that. Although those little guys are cute. A Kiwi is a word for us New Zealanders in general.
Yeah, like she's been openly talking about like how there's like mermaids and cyclopses and fawns and all that around. So like I'm guessing that the magical is not out of the question or anything. Let's have ourselves a drink, shall we? Stretch a little bit too. Yeah, it's cute so far. I'm enjoying it. It's a very protagonist-centered at the moment, which I'm absolutely fine with. There's a lot of visual novels out there that just have like a self-insert protagonist, and I'm not a fan of those, to be honest. I much prefer when the protagonist like actually does some protagging and like has a personality and a character and all that.
So it's a bird, a fruit, and people.
You've got it. All three are delightful. Anyway, welcome to Wellington. I hope you're enjoying your time here in our little city.
So far I am. I made my den here on the mountain. I've gotten coffee a few times, and I went to the library.
I mean, Valhalla is one of my favorite visual novels. And that's also got a lot of very real characters, a strong protagonist. So, yeah, quite like that. Fate Stay Night introduced me to visual novels. That also has a strong protagonist in that. I still maintain I would prefer to play as Rin rather than Shiro, but Shiro is his own person, has a very interesting story arc to him, and like I am very on board for that.
Well, I can't say that's the usual tourist experience, but I'm happy to hear that it's working out for you. Staying long?
Yeah, and I conveniently leave out my plans for the next time I'm in the library.
Probably. I decided to come live here, but I'm still getting to know the place. So, maybe I'll change my mind.
A true free spirit, eh? I felt the same way when I first got here, long time ago. Didn't think I'd settle down for life, but here I am now. Lived more years here than everywhere else in my life.
It can't be that long. You don't look very old for a human.
No? Well, that's my ego boost for the day. You don't look very old for a fox either, but I imagine you've got a good head start on me.
That's true. I don't really keep track or think about it, though.
He laughs again.
Can't say I blame you there. I think 100 years, give or take a little on either side, is enough for me. And I'm only halfway there, so I've got plenty more to look forward to.
He stands up, but has to do it slowly.
And sometimes I'm reminded of how many I've got under my belt already. Thank you for the chat, miss. I better get back to the water now and make sure young Min hasn't fallen into the ocean or anything. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, though. I hope you'll give our fair town a shot.
Thanks. It was nice talking to you, too.
I don't think he was flirting, Sherma. And I mean that for once. He waves goodbye, and he heads down some stone steps, and I keep heading upwards. Never really thought about my age compared to a human's. Humans don't matter to my lifestyle. That's fair. I'm not interested in love myself or anything. Like I am asexual and aromantic. Though I enjoy like romance and stories, like that's absolutely like a-okay for me. Not normally something I deliberately go out of my way to seek, but like I can appreciate it when it's there, and like in sort of like RPGs, like it's good to like follow the other romantic plot lines as well. I wasn't lying when I said that I don't know how old I am. It's never been important. Places, relationships, memories, they just tie people down. I mean, it sounded like he had a child or something. I want to be everywhere. When I reach the top of the mountain, I take a deep breath of the crisp air. Wind blows my hair in every direction, and I can't keep it out of my face. Wind is wild and goes where it wants. Doesn't answer to anyone. That's how I've lived my life too. A free spirit. That's what the band called me, and I like the sound of it. I can see the smudges of a few people down by the beach and on the pier. Is one of them the man I just met? There's no way to know. From up here, they're just tiny little blips, impossible to tell apart from each other. Once I've had my fill of the view, it's time to get on the way again. I turn my back on the people and start making my way down once more. Alright. Yeah, looks like we do get to go to Oriental Bay as well. Let's go. Not far from where I am to the beach, so I decide to head down there. Passing through the city streets, I recognize some of this area from my first day here, and I was running from the Skyport Guard.
Whew. Glad that guard chased me in this direction, or I'd have never found the Bell House.
And really, that's been the highlight of Wellington so far. When I get down to the beach, I take a moment to enjoy the salty sea air. From this level, it's possible to tell where the ocean ends and where the open sky begins. I can see the Skyport from where I am, with a few older ships anchored in the harbour close by. Ah, alright. That's interesting to know. Thank you for sharing that, Shona. I've never been to New Zealand, so I can't comment on the city myself. While I'm admiring the view, a worried-looking lady comes up and waves for my attention.
Hi, I'm looking for my son. He's about this tall and wearing a red sweater. His name's Tommy. Have you seen him?
Have you tried the kindergarten? Oh, you're saying he's older. Have you tried the primary school? Older than that? Is he at the high school, perhaps? I do not know where Tommy is.
Nope. I haven't seen anyone like that. I just got here.
Okay, thanks.
She walks away in a hurry, looking right and left as she goes to ask someone else.
Humans sure do have it rough.
Since they can't smell or even hear most things, it's a wonder they don't get lost more often. I amble along the waterfront, watching all the people as I go. Like Cuba Street, there's a lot going on. Under a nearby bridge, a group of 3 mermaids are racing each other. Close to the bridge are a bunch of people fishing, with a stressed-looking guy running back and forth between them. Don't fish up a mermaid. Next to a boarded-up market stall and some big crates, I noticed something weird. There's a fabled with a big flower on their head that spins like a propeller. They're using it to drift in a small circle above something near the crates. I have to check it out, of course. Nobody else pays any attention. I wander over and take a look. The fabled stops spinning as I approach and gives me a helpless look, but doesn't say anything. On the other side of the crates, out of sight from the path, there's a little boy sitting on the ground, with his back to one of the wooden boxes.
Are you Tommy?
The kid jumps, totally surprised. Oops. He scrambles up and looks at me with wide eyes.
How'd you know? Your mom's looking for you. She seemed pretty worried.
His expression goes from surprised to sullen real quick.
I don't care. I don't want to go with you.
Why not? Why are you over here instead?
'Cause I'm hiding.
Oh. Okay.
See ya. It's a pretty crummy hiding spot. I mean, it's totally open on 3 sides. I don't say that, though. Instead, I look up at the fabled floating overhead. It looks almost as glum as Tommy.
Who's that?
That's Jerby! You mean you can see him?
I can. Is that weird?
Mom and Dad can't see him.
Oh.
They think I'm just making him up. He doesn't talk, but he's real.
Okay, so they have used the U spelling for mum, which is interesting. I'm guessing maybe, like, with their style guide, like, maybe they weren't too strict with it. Maybe they only, like, did it for, like, a few words here and there. And, like, admittedly, like, with, like, writing in, like, another dialect's version of English, you might not necessarily know that, say, sidewalk and footpath are different, for example. And things can get really weird, especially with, like, Australian and New Zealand English, because you'll find that a lot of the spellings will be the UK way, where we use a lot of American words, but not all American words. So, like a sidewalk is footpath here, for example, but we don't call them lorries like you do in the UK. We call them trucks like you do in the US. So it's not an easy job if you decide you want to write in a certain dialect that isn't your own, because like there's what you know, there's what you don't know, and what you don't know you don't know. And if it's something that you don't know, then how are you going to look it up, right? I remember like an American like trying to sort of like correct my spelling on something, and I was like, no, like there's two L's there. This is how you spell it, and we have to sort of like figure it out. I mean, like, I think that I don't necessarily think they're trying to tell it to an Australian audience. Like, it's very rare that something is going to like try to cater to an Australian audience, because Australia is not a large country, unless you're talking about size, which sounds weird when I say it like that, but population-wise, Australia is not large. New Zealand's even smaller as well. Like, if you're going for like mass market appeal to an English-speaking audience, you're going to be going for the United States. That's just how it is. What I'm thinking here is that they probably know a few different things that are like Australian or New Zealand English, but not everything. So, like, obviously they've got a few sort of like slip-ups there that I've noticed. Not sort of like harping on about it or anything like that. Like, as I said, it's not easy, and it's not something that most people will notice, but it's something that I do, and I find interesting. So, that's just my, my 2 cents. Not that Australia or New Zealand use 1 or 2 cent coins. And I assume New Zealand doesn't use 1 and 2 cent coins. I've never been there. Derby waves up from up high.
He kinda gave away your hiding spot. I saw him from the road.
Mom can't see him, and that's all that matters.
Why are you hiding from her?
'Cause...
Tommy sits back down and scratches at the dirt with a rock. Guess he doesn't want to talk about it. I'm always glad to end the conversation.
Well, good luck.
I start to walk away. He doesn't seem like he's in any danger, and I don't want to get blamed for him hiding in the first place.
Hey, wait a minute.
I turn around. He's already standing up again.
Are you gonna go tell her where I am?
Nope. Before I can answer, his eyes get huge again.
Tommy, there you are.
Ah. Now there's an interesting thing. They have gone with an O spelling over here So I'm wondering if they've gone with the decision to, like, with people from New Zealand, the way that they talk, that they're going to be using, like, New Zealand English, but for things outside of dialogue, like descriptions or maybe even narration, that they're going with a more American style. I would absolutely be interested in knowing if there were some active decision processes going on there, or if it's an issue with editing, or just whatever. Like, I'm curious. I am interested. I have to turn around again. This time, it's the woman from before. She's already flying past me over to Tommy.
Are you okay? What were you doing? Don't you ever run off like that again. Oh, I'm just glad you're safe, though.
The voice goes up and down between relieved and angry. She has Tommy in a tight hug. He's just staring forward grumpily. Jerby is flying in distressed circles again. Finally, the lady turns to me.
You found him, right? Thank you so much. I was so worried.
No problem.
Is there a reward? I didn't really do anything. I did find him, but so did she. Guess she's not thinking about it much.
Come on, Tommy, let's go home. We'll talk about this there.
No, I'm not going. That's not home.
My ears flinch as he yells. Stamps his foot on the ground to make his point.
Tommy, sweetie.
Home is where it's you, me, and Dad, not that apartment.
That's still your home too, but this, it's like your second home now.
No, it isn't. Not without you, it's not. Do you and Dad really have to get it?
Sometimes relationships break down, kid. Tommy, who was already sniffling, can't keep from breaking down and crying. And he throws his arms around his mum and hugs her back. Yep, see, they've gone with M-O-M in the narration here. So, at least if I had to assume, Miho's probably spent some time in America and has adopted American English, maybe? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't want you to go.
I get the impression that I should probably leave. Normally I'm happy to be nosy and listen in on things, but right now seems kind of awkward. Neither of the humans notice me leave, but Jerby the Fabled sadly waves goodbye as I head off. I notice what makes him stick around. Never seen a Fabled like him before. But being able to be seen by certain people sure sounds useful, though. I don't have to go far, for the sounds of Tommy and his mum talking are drowned out by the noise of the waterfront. I easily fit into the crowd of people milling around. Being able to live a life that no one notices is close enough to being invisible. I'm pretty lucky that I don't ever have those kinds of tearful conversations or panic about someone missing. Okay. I'm glad it wasn't distressing for you. Those kinds of family stories can absolutely be distressing for some people. Nope. Being part of the crowd is just perfect for me. I stand at the concrete and admire the ocean until I've had my fill. Then I start wandering again. Alright, I've got an exclamation mark over there. Looks like it's dedicated to Miho. We are going to save here, however, and I am going to wrap things up for the night. Well, day, rather. Because it's about that time. That feels like a good sort of like ending point as well. But we will be resuming this one next week. So look forward to that, okay?
Until we meet again, then.
Until we meet again, indeed. So, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. It's been a while since I've done a visual novel on stream, but it's nice to get back into those. As for the rest of the week, on Friday we're going to be having our Discord event, and on the weekend we're going to be playing some Super Robot Wars. So look forward to that, everyone. Now, let us go and find somebody to raid, shall we? I am going to raid Takoyaki Tai today. He is streaming some Final Fantasy XIV at the moment. And I did notice that Tai gave me a shout out in the middle of his stream as well, so for whatever reason, I'm not sure, but Ty's a good friend of mine, so I'm gonna go and pop over and say hello. So, thank you very much, and hope to see you all next time, okay? See ya!